Did we listen to Danny's Your Province, Your Premier? Honest to God, I don't even know why they do it anymore. One of the topics brought up was, of course, the books that were in school libraries, but they weren't in school libraries. I stand by if they were actually in a school library. Somebody put them there on purpose. But the talk about the books also kind of led into some other stuff that I think we should really listen to, because Danny never says things just for the sake of saying it, even when she's wrong.
Be addressed right now and could be addressed, but instead you were fussing about 4 books. Time to get priorities straight.
Well, I don't know. Pornography is a real problem for young adults. It's so accessible, and I don't think 7-year-olds should be exposed to pornographic images. Here's the thing, Wayne. If I am not permitted to describe to you the kind of images that 7-year-olds are seeing because it would offend your audience, then we shouldn't be showing them to 7-year-olds.
Okay. 7-year-olds aren't young adults. 7-year-olds are children. Who is showing this to 7-year-olds? You make it sound like librarians are chasing them through the hallways with these books. I think that goes part and parcel with the 10-year-olds that are getting surgery. You just make shit up.
Have the ability to work on many things at the same time. And right now we're in the middle of a consultation with the public and with teachers, including members of the ATA who are helping us out, and I'm grateful to them for that, on aggression and complexity in the classroom. That is the biggest issue that we've been hearing from teachers, that in some situations, violent students are making life unsafe for our teachers. In other cases, so many kids with complex needs without the support of education assistants are making classrooms unmanageable. So we are doing a summer consultation on that, and I hope that we get some good frontline responses about some of the things we might be able to do to address that.
We went from books to that. But it repeats itself. Now look, I know there's a lot of problems in classrooms. The size of the classrooms, number 1. The resources for classrooms, number 2. The pay of some of the support staff, number 3. There's a lot to look at. Danny thinks she can solve everything. There's going to be a working group. I love a working group. But this repeats itself later on.
On the QR line said, why don't we bring back special ed classrooms for the kids who may need the extra special attention?
I'm watching with interest as parents are kind of doing that. They're self-forming into different independent schools and charter schools that are able to provide that kind of specialty programs. I've now I think we've got 3 specialty programs, for instance, for those who are on the spectrum with autism, and I'm interested in knowing what kind of different practices they're going to do to make sure that those kids get the education that they need, and see if there's anything that we can learn on that for our public school system. But that is exactly what our consultation is going to be about, is that we need to know what parents, what teachers would tell us about ways that we might be able to offer different types of support. So it's a blank sheet of paper. I hope people will participate in that consultation.
I know this is a difficult topic because there used to be special ed classes, programs, even whole schools. There's a balance that needs to happen. Support and integration. There needs to be proper support for students who may require that support. And there also needs to be integration, because students requiring support are part of a community. So if we just segregate them, how do we then integrate them? My worry for this type of government is that they will segregate them, put them over here where nobody can see them, to make it easier for everybody else. That happened a long time ago, and it wasn't great. So I think there needs to be a lot of discussion, intensive discussion, so we don't end up just putting people over here. I think there needs to be more education and money provided so that the resources work for everybody, not just like seclusion rooms, throwing a kid in a room so they can throw themselves around when things get difficult. And I'm not minimizing the impact that has on a class, but we also need to look at the impact that has on the child.
What about the funding? Funding for education for overcrowded classrooms.
That's what I mentioned. That is exactly what our consultation is about. What we have done in the past is we have given money to school boards, and oftentimes to address these issues. And they're either supposed to go to hire more teachers so you have smaller class sizes, or to hire education assistants so that you've got an extra hand or 2 in the classroom. What we're observing is seeing enough education assistants hired, quite frankly. And so we're going to be doing some consultation to see if we need to be a little more hands-on in how those resources get deployed.
Oh, she's going to get her hands on it. I like how she questioned funding. What is this funding you're talking about? We give buckets of money to school boards. Buckets! And they're just not using it properly. Probably because they're buying all those graphic novels to show 7-year-olds. But don't you worry, Danny's gonna get involved. We don't know what that means. It could mean a plethora of things. But ultimately, it means that she's gonna get more involved in school boards, whatever that looks like. Because she wants more EAs. He didn't want to pay them properly. Anyway, as always, it's under the guise of protecting children. It's not. It's not under the guise of protecting children. It's under the guise of controlling things. I hope whoever's participating in these working groups that she has are diverse in their ideology. Because a lot of the times the working groups just have one goal: put people over there. Work within our agenda. Nobody is showing things that are inappropriate to 7-year-olds. I don't believe those books were ever in elementary schools. You really gotta be careful with that whole segregation thing. Soon they'll be using the term institution. I'd like to get off the train that's heading to the 1940s and get back on a train that is actually trying to work towards a better life for everybody, inclusively. But we got the UCP. That's never gonna fucking happen.